Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Well, I sound a little bit better. I didn't have a very good voice for last day or so, so I figured I better just take it easy there. But anyway, we got a big bunch of news as far as our debt ceiling and what might happen to Mr. T. I'm past my 30 seconds, and I'm going to do a Bumble jump today. I'm going to do a Bumble jump. I'm going to jump on over to Bumble, and I put a link in the description so you can join me over there at Bumble. Because I don't feel like talking in code, and I don't feel about worried about uh, getting an email in the morning. But I'm gonna be up here for a little bit so people can come on in. I didn't know Nikki was live, and she's probably live now. Uh, but we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna say the company name um, in French, Target. Target. We're going to talk about Target because I guarantee you that's in the rhythm here on this platform. Um, so I got to be careful with that. So now let me get this banner up. I'm going to get this banner up for, in case somebody tunes in and goes, "Where's?" I just got to notice, Mountain Man. Where's he at? So I'm right here. Bumble link in the description. That's where we're going. Over to Bumble. Not right now. In a little bit. So we're gonna give some people time to come in. Let's see who's here. How you doing, Bubba? Wanda, how you? Mike, Tennessee, how you doing? Lucy, Rick, Damon, B Dog, Debbie, Joy. You been sick? Oh my goodness, antibiotics. Right back to needing them again. My word. Allergies. Well, you get your rest, stay inside, go outside in the evening and early in the morning when the dew is keeping all the pollen down. And it'll be a nice, pretty morning. Watching the birds early in the morning. I can't let Sadie out too early in the morning because she goes out there and gets critters. So I got to keep her inside and I don't feed her till later in the morning, and all little critters can go to bed. So yeah, she's still got a little bit of the jungle in her. Hi, Melinda. How are you? Hi, Lori. So uh, my last talk, I'll talk about that too when we go over to Bumble. I had talked about Padre Pio and uh, Pope John Paul II and their notions on what was going to happen during the end times. During the end time. And I wasn't uh, saying Bible verses. I was saying at certain points, I didn't want to get into dueling banjos when it came down to Bible verses. I was trying to make a certain point, and I think it's important to ruminate on what two canonized saints of the church and John Paul and Padre Pio have both been canonized as saints, and their thoughts on what was going to happen during the apocalypse. So anyway, we can go over that some more. That's right, Joy. You see all little critters in the morning. All little critters before they go hide. So anyway, I'm waiting to see what Mr. T thinks of this supposed debt ceiling deal before I make any firm opinion on it. I will discuss others' opinions, though. A lot of people think we could have done better. could have done much better. But I know Mr. T has been telling Congress to hold the line, and we'll go over a little bit of what they say. But if you notice on my thumbnail, I got intolerable acts, and 2.0, because back in the day, I think it was 1774, about 2 years before things really hit the fan. But things were brewing for a long time. You remember the Boston Massacre was, I think, 1770. And of course, we all celebrate the spirit of 1776. So there was a lot going on between then. And we still had a Continental Congress for years after 1776. We didn't have the Constitution finished. So, it's all a process. But anyway, the intolerable acts were just that. They were intolerable. I'll go over some of the old-timey intolerable acts. But what's new and intolerable, new acts that are being committed against us that history will view as intolerable to a civilized society, I can't go over here. I can't review here because I might get in trouble. So that's why I'm going to do a Bumble jump. That's what I'll call these live streams, Bumble jumps. So I got a link in the description this time, and that's where we're going to jump to, is Bumble. So who else made it in here? Hi, Ingrid. Hi, Reba. Who did I miss? I missed anybody, I don't think. So anyway, I do like it if somebody tells me news that I may not have heard while I was busy cobbling together a broadcast. Although I have snapped at people in the past, like they put up a big bulletin that the world's coming to an end tonight, and it all turns out to be BS. But I do like little tidbits here and there, and open discussion. If somebody comes in, and they don't like Mr. T, or they like DeSantis, or God forbid, Joe Biden, they're welcome. We can talk. No vitriol, no foul language, and let's just have a real discussion. And I haven't had one of those in a while. Hi, Finding Dory. How are you doing? So you see on my screen, Bumble link in the description. And I think I'm scheduled to go on there in about 10 minutes. But I can prattle about what kind of issues we're going to talk about. And I can talk about some things without getting too much trouble here. So, I think we're going to have to decide as a society, as a culture, and as a civilization, we're going to have to put down, written in stone, for our own daggone good, the definition of a human. What is a human? And really what I'm getting at is human life. Human life is precious. And as I said about Pope Benedict, who recently passed away, who had stepped down, and a lot of people have theories on that he was inflexible, as he should have been, about the value of human life in all stages and conditions. He was called God's Rottweiler. He was also called the Hammer when it came to doctrine. And he wrote a letter that was exposed a lot of things that would be embarrassing to the church that he thought was a problem. But anyway, we're going to have to, we know what the church defines as human life, but we're going to have to do that in our codify it, okay? Uh, and if it takes an amendment to the Constitution or whatever it takes, we're going to have to do it. Because they play around with definitions, they play word games, word salads, legal pig Latin, medical pig Latin, to avoid saying that some among us are less than human. So we'll get to that discussion when we do the Bumble jump. So let me see you all's here. Hi, Richard. Don't forget to copy the Bumble link. That's right. Yeah, just give me a few minutes to switch my all my stuff over. It's a little. I get it down a little bit, but it won't be so hard. I wanted to be up about 15 minutes earlier, but you got to do your titles and do all a little picking and pecking and make sure you get all your codes in right and all that stuff. So, but I'll get it down to an art. So let's see. I'm seeing if anybody's got any tidbits that came up. And Durham is going to be interviewed, and it's going to be closed door, but I'm sure we're going to hear stuff out of it. And we've got them making all these moves. They got Steve Bannon is going to be going on trial for fraud in March, the same time when Mr. T is supposedly going to be going on trial with the Judge Mascara. I don't know why, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he doesn't have eyeliner tattooed around his eyes. I mean, tattooed. It looks that way to me because I've seen people that's had it done. And they're usually got a little sugar in their gas tank, or I don't know what it is, what they're trying to do, but it's alteration of their it's a elective cosmetic thing, I guess. And we really got to look at that kind of stuff as far as what our rules are going to be going forward for this type of thing. I mean, I don't trust someone who looks like they have a pharaoh complex. They want to look like a pharaoh with the makeup around the eyes and put it permanently in their skin. And that person is supposed to have a mental affect that is professional, that there's not something a little askew about that. I should have cut that article about 6 months ago. I think it was in Dallas or somewhere in Texas, I think. I could be wrong. But they did psychological evaluations on a sheriff's department. I believe it was some branch of law enforcement. And I think it was almost 50 of them had problems with their psychological testing that set off little bells that this person does not need to be having a weapon and a badge. And some of them they relieved of their duties. Some of them they said, hey, you're going to be behind a desk until you take some training and educate yourself. So that's a pretty big number. And if you watch stations like The Audit is one I watch. They show police officers at their best. I mean, they show some really good videos where they're dealing with difficult citizens, or they, even in dangerous situations, and they perform admirably and very well. But at the same time, you also have some officers that are just incredibly inconsiderate or ignorant of the law, and they are abusive. So that, along with the permanent mascara, blue hair, any hair color that is not in nature, People don't need to put in their hair to go to work unless they're going for a job with Circus Soleil or with the theater or something like that. Now, yeah, I remember the joke about the Blues running when in Florida, uh, ladies used to put, used to be like a blue, silver, and then over the years it got bluer and bluer and bluer. So when they'd all head south for the winter, people would say the Blues are running. I know about that, but I'm talking about our general everyday businesses should be allowed to reject that. Government, it should not be permitted for anyone to make their appearance shocking or outside of a natural appearance. Police officers have to perform with a dress code and their appearance. A lot of people have to. I remember when my father worked for IBM, which we used to joke, I'm being moved, because every foggy day he had to pick up and move. But he worked for Big Blue, and you had to have, in his day, you had to have a blue suit, a white shirt, and a black or blue tie, and a short haircut. Now, my father was a Marine, so he had the flat top anyway. So anyway, yeah, there's dress codes and there's expectations about people's appearances. And as I say, as far as governments are concerned, and I mean it from the local government on up, we don't need people looking outrageous or shocking or outside. If somebody's going gray and they, or they say, hey, blondes have more fun or whatever, that's fine. They want to take care of that. That's fine. That's normal, but not things that occur outside of nature. So you think I'm a little too harsh about that? I think it's a sign of emotional instability, or it's a sign that you're signaling that you're with a certain group of people that we do not want to associate with as a culture. And I'll get into that when I go to Bumble. So let me see what else has gotten in here. Hi, Debbie Webby. That's right, sugar in the gas tank. Yeah, that's a couple extra cupcakes on the tray. Let's see. Wanda said, politics is the art of looking for trouble, finding it everywhere, diagnosing it incorrectly, and applying the wrong remedies. Ha ha ha, Groucho Marx. Yeah, Groucho Marx had a lot of smart sayings. So let's see, it's time for me to do the Bumble jump, folks. So as far as U-Tizzle is concerned, I'll be leaving here in just a second. For people who are just now tuning in, I've got my link in the description of where I'm going to Bumble. And hopefully you all can make it over there and we'll have a good time. To give me a minute to set up. And as far as U-Tizzle is concerned, this is Mountain Man over and out.